Welcome to today's installment of How Christianity Influenced History. Christianity spread across the Roman Empire, which transformed their cultural norms, ethics, and social structures. Monasteries preserved knowledge, copied manuscripts, and became learning centers during the Dark Ages. Christian art, music, and architecture enriched Western civilization. Medieval universities, often founded by the Church, preserved classical texts and advanced scientific inquiry. The Christian worldview encouraged intellectual curiosity and exploration. The Christian emphasis on human dignity influenced movements for the abolition of slavery, civil rights, and humanitarian aid. Concepts like the inherent worth of every individual find their roots in Christian thought. Let's delve into the fascinating interplay between Christian influence and classical fantasy literature, with a special focus on the remarkable contributions of J.R.R. Tolkien. Christianity, with its rich theological and moral framework, has significantly shaped literature across various genres. In particular, the classical fantasy genre owes a debt to Christian thought and imagination. The divinely gifted discernment tool. God has created the human creature to be an imaginative creature. Dr. Jean Veith defines the imagination as simply the power of the mind to form a mental image, that is, to think in pictures or other sensory representations. Whether read or heard, words and the imagination go together. Like breathing, we do this without thinking about it. Dr. Veith goes on to surmise that our mental faculties, also created by God, Luther reminds us in his small catechism, are accessed far more than our reason, emotions, or will. Screenwriter, author, and film critic Brian Godawa makes an essential point when he says, "Modern theology's emphasis on systematic and scientific discourse places it in danger of not merely inadequacy but a serious misunderstanding of God, for the structure and method of theology affects the content of theology. If the Bible communicates God and truth, theology, primarily through story, image, symbol, and metaphor, then a theology that neglects those methods is not being strictly biblical in its method. Like the rest of our nature, our imagination is also fallen and can be used for base actions. Thus, like our bodies and our other mental faculties, our imaginations too must be trained and conformed regularly, for these are certainly sanctified by God along with everything else He has immersed in His efficacious Word. The best way to train our imaginations is through studying His Word. The best way to have them tested is by engaging in theology." Lewis noted that he preferred doctrinal books to devotional books such as Kempiss's On the Imitation of Christ. He added, "I believe that many who find that nothing happens when they sit down, or kneel down, to a book of devotion, would find that the heart sings unbidden while they are working their way through a tough bit of theology with a pipe in their teeth and a pencil in their hand. Our Father of Heavenly Lights has gifted story to us to aid us in this. We know that God has sanctified the use of imagination for theological study because of the vivid imagery and various narrative structures contained in Scripture, intended to captivate our minds and work our imaginations. And we know that stories fiction are sanctified by God to convey His theological treasures because our Lord used them often as part of His discourses and preaching. We know them as parables." Understanding theology through Tolkien's works. For those who dismiss novels as mere frivolous distractions from the Bible, consider this. J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis stand as titans in the fantasy genre. Their works have left an indelible mark on literature and continue to captivate readers. Tolkien, a devout Catholic, infused his Middle-earth with profound Christian symbolism. His creation myth, the concept of eucatastrophe, sudden joyous turn, and the sacrificial heroism of characters like Frodo and Sam reflect Christian ideals. Lewis, a convert to Christianity, crafted the enchanting world of Narnia. Aslan, the lion, serves as a Christ figure, embodying sacrifice, resurrection, and redemption. Both authors believed that fantasy could convey deeper truths and awaken the reader's spiritual imagination. Mythopoeia and imagination. Tolkien coined the term mythopoeia, which refers to the creation of mythic narratives. He believed that myths and fairy tales could convey profound truths. Through the lens of Middle-earth, readers encounter themes of free will, providence, and the battle against evil. Tolkien's legendarium invites theological reflection. Complex ideas and allegory. Lewis in The Chronicles of Narnia skillfully wove allegory into fantasy. Aslan's sacrifice mirrors Christ's redemptive act. By engaging with Narnia, readers explore concepts of sin, forgiveness, and the transformative power of grace. The joy of subcreation. Both authors engaged in subcreation, the act of crafting secondary worlds. In doing so, they mirrored God's creativity. Their works invite readers to ponder the nature of reality, the human condition, and the divine. John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, the brilliant English writer, philologist, and devout Roman Catholic, left an indelible mark on literature and fantasy. His works, both before and after his death, continue to resonate with readers worldwide. In this essay, we will embark on a journey through Tolkien's life, explore his major books, delve into their modern impact, and unravel the profound influence of Christianity on his imagination and the fantasy genre. Born on January 3, 1892, in Bloemfontein, South Africa, Tolkien's literary legacy extends far beyond his mortal years. His immediate paternal ancestors were middle-class craftsmen, but his family's origins trace back to the medieval German town of Kreuzberg. Tolkien's parents instilled in him a love for languages, music, and faith. His experiences during World War I profoundly shaped his worldview, and he later found solace in academia and storytelling. J.R.R. Tolkien, the brilliant English writer and philologist, indeed wove an intricate tapestry of languages and mythology within his fictional world of Middle-earth. Let's explore how he melded linguistics and storytelling, glossopoeia and mythopoeia. Glossopoeia, a term coined by Tolkien, refers to the art of constructing languages. It was a lifelong passion for him, beginning in his teenage years. In parallel with his concept of mythopoeia, myth-making, Tolkien crafted several constructed languages that became integral to Middle-earth. Elvish languages. Tolkien's most developed languages were those of the Elves. The two prominent ones are Quenya, originally called Elfin. It was inspired by Finnish. Tolkien started working on Quenya around 1910. Sindarin, another Elvish language, it has a more Celtic influence, and is widely used in Middle-earth. Other languages. Beyond Elvish, Tolkien sketched out other languages. Agenaic and Rohirric, Mannish languages. Khuzdal, Dwarvish language. Entish, spoken by the Ents. Black speech, a constructed language enforced on the orcs by the Dark Lord Sauron. Scripts and calligraphy. Being a skilled calligrapher, Tolkien invented scripts for his languages, including Sirati, Cirth, and Tengwar. The Silmarillion. Tolkien's Legendarium, which eventually became the Silmarillion, provided a setting where his invented languages could exist. He began stories in Middle-earth not with characters or plot, but with the languages themselves. Tolkien's first mark on the fantasy genre came with the publication of The Hobbit. Although shorter and more light-hearted than its epic counterpart, The Lord of the Rings, this novel redefined children's fantasy. Bilbo Baggins, our unlikely hero, embarks on a quest with dwarven companions to recapture their kingdom. Unlike whimsical tales, Tolkien infused consequence and reality into Middle-earth, even amidst magic rings and dragons. J.R.R. Tolkien, a devout Christian, infused The Hobbit with subtle Christian themes. Let's explore some of these themes. The corruption of greed. In The Hobbit, the desolation of Smaug, the theme of greed and the love of money is central. Thorin Oakenshield passionately pursues wealth and power, mirroring how greed can corrupt the soul. His grandfather, Thrain, drew the dragon by hoarding gold, echoing the biblical warning that the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Prophecy. Prophecy plays a major role in the film. To find their way into the Lonely Mountain, the company must stand at the door on the last day of fall, waiting for the light to shine on the keyhole. This echoes biblical prophecies and the idea of divine guidance. Christian worldview. While The Hobbit is not an allegory of Christian truth, it reflects a Christian worldview. Themes of providence, purpose, and morality underpin the narrative. Tolkien's vision of Middle-earth, though fantastical, resonates with deeper truths. In summary, The Hobbit subtly weaves Christian themes into its adventurous tale, inviting readers to reflect on timeless values and the human condition. Published posthumously, the Silmarillion delves into the cosmic origins of Middle-earth. It narrates the splintering of the original created light and the fall of man. While not an easy read, it provides essential context for Tolkien's legendarium. The themes of divine providence, creation, and redemption are woven throughout. Tolkien draws inspiration from Boethius' Consolation of Philosophy, a work that grapples with fate, free will, and divine providence. In Middle-earth, these concepts intersect. Providence embraces all things, even apparent contradictions. The cosmic symphony includes both harmonious melodies and dissonant notes. Tolkien's world-building mirrors this complexity, divine providence weaving through every event, even when heroes falter. The One's role. Eru Ilúvatar, the supreme creator, orchestrates Middle-earth's destiny. His providence operates subtly, often unseen. The survival of Gollum, the preservation of the line of kings, and the unexpected moments of grace, all part of the cosmic plan. The One Ring's destruction, achieved through Gollum's unintended fall, is the culmination of divine providence. It transcends individual actions, revealing a purpose beyond mortal comprehension. The Ainulindale. The term, Ainulindale, translates to music of the Aenir, in Quenya. It describes the prelude to creation, where the Aenir, a group of angelic beings, participate in a great music orchestrated by the supreme deity, Eru Ilúvatar. The Aenir are akin to divine spirits, each contributing to the harmonious symphony that shapes the fabric of existence. The divine music. Eru Ilúvatar introduces the theme of sentient races, elves and men, which surprises the Aenir, as they had not anticipated these beings. As the music unfolds, Melkor, the most powerful Ainu, introduces discordant notes, disrupting the harmony. His pride and desire for dominion lead him astray. The duel of creation. Despite Melkor's dissonance, Eru Ilúvatar weaves it into the grand design, turning it into a more complex and beautiful melody. When the Aenir witness the material universe, taking shape, they become enamored with it. Some decide to enter this physical world, the sublime outcome. Despite Morgoth's malevolence, Eru Ilúvatar's ultimate purpose prevails. The world is created, and the Aenir become the Vala and Maiar, shaping its destiny. The Ainulindale establishes the cosmic framework for all subsequent events in Middle-earth. Symbolism and themes. The Ainulindale mirrors themes of divine creation, free will, and the interplay of good and evil. Eru Ilúvatar's ability to transform discord into beauty reflects the concept of divine providence. Morgoth's rebellion foreshadows the challenges faced by the inhabitants of Middle-earth. In summary, the Ainulindale is a majestic tale of celestial music, rebellion, and the birth of a world. It resonates with profound themes and sets the stage for the epic stories that follow in Tolkien's legendarium. Tolkien's magnum opus, The Lord of the Rings, elevated fantasy from escapism to serious literature. The epic saga follows the journey of the Fellowship, a diverse group of characters, as they battle against the Dark Lord Sauron. Themes of good versus evil, humility, grace, and immortality permeate the narrative. Tolkien's intricate world-building and richly developed characters set a template for future fantasy writers. The Lord of the Rings is an epic fantasy novel by J.R.R. Tolkien. It follows the journey of the Hobbit Frodo Baggins and a diverse group of companions, hobbits, elves, dwarves, and men, as they set out to destroy an evil ring. This ring has the power to control the entire world and corrupt its owner. Their mission is to cast the ring into the volcanic fires of Mount Doom, where it was forged. Along the way, they face challenges, battles, and the malevolent force of Sauron. The novel explores themes of friendship, sacrifice, and the struggle between good and evil. Both books have had a significant influence on the fantasy genre and continue to captivate readers worldwide. J.R.R. Tolkien, a devout Christian, infused The Lord of the Rings with subtle Christian themes. Let's explore some of these themes. Gandalf, the wandering pilgrim and savior of Middle-earth. Gandalf is the dominant symbol of Christ in The Lord of the Rings. His dual identities as a common man and a powerful, mystical figure mirror Christ's incarnation. Gandalf accepts his leadership role and embraces his destiny, much like Jesus did. His healing ability and self-sacrificial nature align with Christ's ministry. After his sacrifice, Gandalf is resurrected as Gandalf the White, overcoming evil and reigning in peace and righteousness. He literally carries Frodo up Mount Doom, helping him complete his mission, a parallel to Jesus carrying the struggling believer. Aragorn, the true king and redeemer. Aragorn, the rightful heir to the throne, symbolizes Christ as the King of Kings. He accepts his destiny and leads the fight against evil. Aragorn's sacrificial love for Arwen and his people echoes Christ's sacrificial love for humanity. His reign brings hope and restoration to Middle-earth. Samwise Gamgee, the faithful servant. Sam, Frodo's loyal companion, exemplifies discipleship and self-sacrifice. He carries Frodo's burden, both physically and emotionally, echoing Jesus carrying the believer's struggles. Frodo's burden. Frodo Baggins, the ring-bearer, shoulders a burden that transcends physical weight. The One Ring consumes him, testing his resolve, sanity, and loyalty. His journey parallels the human struggle against evil. His failure at Mount Doom, when he succumbs to the ring's allure, is a stark reminder of mortal limitations. Frodo's inability to destroy the ring alone underscores the need for collective effort, a fellowship of diverse beings working together. His sacrifice, though incomplete, sets the stage for an unexpected resolution. The Lord of the Rings is more than an adventure, it's a meditation on the human struggle, the tension between free will and fate, and the unseen forces shaping our destinies. Divine providence, like a hidden melody, guides Middle-earth toward redemption. We should recognize that our failures, sacrifices, and unexpected victories are threads in a cosmic symphony, a symphony conducted by a higher power. Sam's unwavering faith and love for Frodo demonstrate the power of sacrificial love. The Lord of the Rings unfolds against the backdrop of a world threatened by darkness. The malevolent force of Sauron, the Dark Lord, seeks to regain his lost ring, the One Ring, forged to rule all others. His dominion extends beyond physical power, it corrupts hearts, sows discord, and threatens the very fabric of existence. Heroes emerge, Gandalf, Aragorn, Frodo, and others, each with their quests, yet their victories remain transient. Gandalf gathers forces, Aragorn wins battles, but the ultimate triumph eludes them. Their struggles mirror our own, a perpetual battle against evil, where victories are fleeting and hope often wavers. Gollum, once a hobbit named Smeagol, becomes the ring's unlikely bearer. His survival is divine providence in action. His fall into the fiery chasm of Mount Doom, clutching the One Ring, destroys it, a twist of fate that neither he nor anyone else intended. Gollum's tortured existence, his internal struggle between Smeagol and Gollum, mirrors the human condition. His preservation serves a purpose beyond his understanding, a purpose woven into the cosmic symphony. Modern impact. Tolkien's enduring legacy. Defining fantasy. Tolkien didn't invent fantasy, but he defined it for millions. His work set a template followed by writers of fantasy. The success of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings led to a resurgence of the genre. Fantasy now tops bestseller lists globally, and adaptations like Game of Thrones and Harry Potter dominate screens. The Christian roots of Middle-earth. Tolkien's deep Catholic faith influenced his writing. He described The Lord of the Rings as a fundamentally religious and Catholic work. Themes of good versus evil, humility, grace, and immortality resonate throughout his works. Divine providence subtly appears through the will of the Vala, godlike immortals. Theological themes. Tolkien's exploration of mercy, pity, resurrection, salvation, and self-sacrifice is evident. While not an allegory, his works contain numerous themes from Christian theology. The characters of Gandalf, Frodo, and Aragorn exemplify the threefold office of Christ: prophetic, priestly, and kingly aspects. Christianity and paganism in Middle-earth. Middle-earth is both Christian and pagan. Tolkien's faith is absorbed into the story and symbolism. The battle of good versus evil, the triumph of humility over pride, and the activity of grace are subtly woven into the narrative. Divine providence appears indirectly, respecting free will. J.R.R. Tolkien, bridging worlds and challenging traditions, escapism or engaged realism? Introduction. John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, the master of Middle-earth, defied easy categorization. His works, often dismissed as mere escapism, reveal profound insights into the human condition, the clash of tradition and modernity, and the transformative power of love. In this essay, we explore how Tolkien's creative vision transcends labels, weaving together elements of Romanticism, Christian theology, and timeless myth. Tolkien and modernism. Tolkien's literary journey unfolded against the backdrop of a rapidly changing world. Born in 1892, he witnessed rural England give way to industrialization and the trauma of World War I. Critics initially labeled his works as escapist fantasies, but they missed the deeper currents. Tolkien engaged with his times, responding to the century's upheavals through his Middle-earth mythology. Romantic traditions. Tolkien's creative ethos aligns with the Romantic tradition. Like William Morris and W.B. Yeats, he sought to infuse mythic depth into his narratives. His legendarium, a vast body of interconnected tales, embodies both realism and hope. Through intertextuality, he wove diverse materials into a cohesive world, a mythology for England. An antagonism to modernism, Tolkien's rejection of modernist fragmentation sets him apart. While T.S. Eliot and Ezra Pound emphasized intertextuality, Tolkien used it to create unity. His world-building wasn't a collage but a coherent cosmos. The destruction of the One Ring by Frodo and Sam in The Lord of the Rings symbolizes both thematic resolution and structural culmination. Tradition versus modernity. Tolkien's stand. Traditionalist roots. Tolkien was no iconoclast. His reverence for tradition, especially Anglo-Saxon literature like Beowulf, shaped his creative process. He resisted abandoning the past for modernism. Unlike Nietzsche, who proclaimed the death of God, Tolkien found happiness in the position God appointed, not the one he desired. Creation account and degenerative recurrence. In the Silmarillion, Tolkien's creation myth mirrors the fall into time and space. Arda, Middle-earth, undergoes fragmentation, a degenerative process. Mythic history metaphorically depicts beings turning away from light toward darkness. Yet, love remains a redemptive force. Silmaril, love breaking tradition. The Silmarils, sacred jewels, embody tradition. No one could take them except a mortal, Beren, for love's sake. His lover, Luthien, defied tradition to rescue him from Sauron. Love shattered the rigid norms, echoing Tolkien's overarching theme: love transcends tradition. In conclusion, Tolkien's legacy defies labels. His works bridge worlds, challenge critics, and celebrate love's transformative power. As we journey through Middle-earth, we glimpse a vision that transcends time, a mythic tapestry woven with threads of tradition, modernity, and eternal love. In a hypersensitive, thin-skinned present day, the ability to have meaningful dialogue on important topics such as theology is increasingly difficult. Moreover, people are having their attentions drawn in myriad directions. But stories are still vehicles of escape most everyone makes time for. And stories are also a portal to meaningful conversation on theology. To risk making a bad argument, or a wrong one, is too much for many people. Yet dress those arguments up in fictional settings occupied by characters conceived in the imagination of a storyteller, and suddenly the abstract can be grasped, the controversial can be discussed. And via fantasy, the numinous mystery can be experienced. The key is in the showing, not the telling. And the better attuned in imagination, the better chance a person will have to comprehend without the watchful dragons waking and pouncing. This should not surprise us. The very nature of human existence conceived in Christian terms is best understood within narrative, says Dr. Gilbert Meilander. He adds that we live in constant tension between this world and the next, because we can only touch the eternal here. For our experience is inherently narrative, relentlessly temporal. We are given no rest. The story moves on. And hence, the creature who is made to rest in God is in this life best understood as a pilgrim whose world is depicted in terms of the Christian story. Therefore, story is the bridge between the temporal and the eternal. Given this, it is no wonder that book sales and films/TV consumption is in the billions views and dollars, and that fantasy narratives and spectacle continue their meteoric rise in both mediums. Writing a review of Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings, Lewis notes that the book applies the fantasy, Treatment not only to bread or apple but to good and evil, to our endless perils, our anguish, and our joys. By dipping them in myth we see them more clearly. I do not think he could have done it in any other way. I am confident that Christian theology is best ministered, concerning story, no other way, that perhaps nothing better than fantasy narrative can serve theological meditation and discourse to the fullest. We trust that today's video, which delved into the profound impact of Christianity on literature and its historical journey, resonated with you. Our hope is that it serves as an inspiration, urging you to draw nearer to God. While this presentation does not delve into exhaustive depths, it acts as a catalyst, igniting curiosity within our viewers. We encourage you to embark on your own research and study, seeking to enrich your understanding and edify your spirit. Remember, curiosity is the gateway to enlightenment. Soli Deo Gloria.